Some men don't shine by standing in the spotlight. They burn quietly, intensely, from within. And that kind of fire is impossible to replicate. There's a famous line often attributed to legendary performers and actors who lived unapologetically on their own terms. A man becomes unstoppable the moment he stops seeking permission. Now imagine a man built entirely on that principle. A man whose soul isn't just alive, it's on fire. He follows his own path with a spirit no one can tame, control, or reshape. He's not the type who chases approval, nor the type people instantly figure out. His focus cuts through noise like a blade. His discipline rivals men who try twice as hard. And his independence? Unshakable. That man is the Sigma male. He may not command the room with volume, but he's the one people remember long after the noise fades, long after the crowd disperses, long after the moment has passed. There's something about a Sigma male that's impossible to replace, not because he tries to be different, but because authenticity at his level is rare in a world full of copies. Welcome to today's deep dive into why women often realize far too late that a Sigma male is completely irreplaceable. We're breaking down the psychology, the allure, and the quiet intensity that surrounds these men, and why, when the truth finally clicks for a woman, it usually happens at the exact moment. He's already walking away. As we move through the traits that make a Sigma male a rare and unforgettable presence, remember this: he isn't meant for everyone, but for those who understand his depth or try to. The realization of his worth arrives like a tidal wave, often after he's stepped out of their life as silently as he entered it. Sigma males thrive in solitude. They are introverts who command attention without trying, existing in that perfect balance between quiet independence and undeniable presence. Step into the world of a Sigma male and you'll meet a man who blends introspection with strength, who stands apart not because he tries to, but because he doesn't need anything from the crowd to validate his existence. Unlike the alpha, who shines in the spotlight, the Sigma's glow comes from within. They flourish alone. They're not bothered by silence, nor frightened by the absence of constant social engagement. It's not that they dislike people. They simply value the clarity that comes from being in their own thoughts. Their introversion becomes a well they draw wisdom from, uncovering insights many extroverted personalities never slow down long enough to notice. Independence is the backbone of a Sigma male's identity. He isn't wrapped in the expectations of society. He doesn't move according to trends or opinions. Instead, he lives with personal conviction, walking a path carved from his own beliefs. He navigates life with self-reliance, trusting his abilities, sharpening his skills, and relying on his inner resources. This is tied directly to the quiet confidence he carries. A Sigma male doesn't brag. He doesn't need to convince anyone of his worth. His confidence is subtle but powerful, rooted in a deep self-awareness. He knows what he brings to the world. He knows where he needs to improve, and he remains grounded and comfortable in both his strengths and flaws. Think of a Sigma male as a steady river, flowing on its own course, unaffected by the noise around it. He doesn't crave validation, because his validation comes from within. He never seeks attention, yet it follows him anyway. Not because he demands it, but because people can't help being pulled toward someone so aligned with himself. Though Sigma males often appear like lone wolves, they are not antisocial. They are selective. They choose depth over quantity. They value meaningful relationships and are fiercely loyal once someone earns a place in their world. Which brings us to a question many women wonder. What makes these lone wolves so irresistibly attractive? The Sigma's allure, that mysterious, magnetic pull, is a powerful force. But what exactly draws women toward them with such intensity? Imagine a man who doesn't need the spotlight. A man who is fully comfortable in silence. A man who is unashamedly, unapologetically himself. That is the Sigma male, and women feel that aura instantly. It's a kind of mystery that feels ancient, like a hidden language written into his presence. It captivates them before they even understand why. Then there's the Sigma's self-sufficiency. In a world overloaded with dependency and emotional chaos, a man who stands firmly on his own 2 feet, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, feels like a rare gift. He operates like a lone wolf in the wilderness, guided by calm certainty and internal strength. That level of self-reliance removes the emotional pressure many women carry, making him both refreshing and comforting. His independence only amplifies this. A Sigma male is the ruler of his own world. He isn't governed by society's rules or boxed in by expectations. His life is created by his own design, and that free-spirited authenticity is mesmerizing to watch. It's like witnessing a man who refuses to be anything but himself, a trait far more attractive than people admit. But here lies the paradox. The very qualities that make him irresistible also make him incredibly elusive. His mystery, his strength, his boundaries, they all make him feel like a rare gem, beautiful, precious, but nearly impossible to hold on to if he senses someone doesn't appreciate it. Just like a brilliantly written novel that leaves you wanting more. The Sigma male's presence pulls you in again and again. His blend of mystery, autonomy, and unshakable assurance creates an allure that's hard to decode and even harder to forget. And this is exactly why so many women realize the truth too late. Sigma males are like a well-aged wine, subtle, layered, and revealing their depth over time. They're not flashy like the alphas who demand attention. They're observers, thinkers, men with a quiet power that doesn't reveal itself instantly. Their allure grows slowly, and by the time a woman fully recognizes what she had in front of her, the Sigma is often already gone. Not because he wanted to be, but because he refuses to stay where he is undervalued. Sigma males are independent, introspective, self-sufficient, qualities that take time to appreciate, but once understood, become impossible to replace. They carry a rare and quiet understanding of themselves and of the world moving around them. Sigma males don't bend under the weight of expectations or the noise of society. Instead, they walk their own road with a kind of self-assurance that isn't loud, but unmistakably real. Their confidence doesn't scream for attention. It reveals itself slowly, layer by layer, to anyone patient enough to notice. And the more time you spend around a Sigma male, the more you realize that independence like theirs is magnetic in a way you can't fake. Sigmas aren't interested in emotional games or shallow displays. They operate from a place of authenticity, something that's becoming increasingly rare today. They don't chase validation. They generate it within themselves. And the longer you know them, the clearer and more admirable that inner steadiness becomes. But here's the twist. We live in a world obsessed with instant gratification. Loud personalities, bold gestures, flashy confidence. In such a world, subtle power is often overlooked at first glance. The quiet strength of a Sigma male is easy to miss until a woman experiences it up close. Only then does she realize that this kind of man is irreplaceable. So why does that realization come so late? Why do women only understand the true value of a Sigma long after he has already shown who he is? Because the qualities that define a Sigma are not loud. They never try to prove themselves. Their virtues become visible slowly, in the small moments, in the way they think, act, feel, and stand firm when everyone else wavers. This delayed recognition isn't a mystery at all. In fact, several forces shape it, forces rooted in culture, expectations, and the way society interprets masculinity itself. Let's start with the most powerful one: society's expectations. For decades, confidence has been portrayed as something loud and dominant, traits commonly associated with the stereotypical alpha male. And because the world tends to celebrate extroverted behavior, the quiet, introverted strength of a Sigma is often misunderstood or underestimated. A Sigma male is essentially the introverted version of an alpha, equally strong, but choosing solitude, independence, and depth over crowd-pleasing dominance. Then there's the issue of misunderstood masculinity. Mainstream culture still pushes the idea that masculinity is tied to aggression, competition, or emotional detachment. But Sigma males are living proof that true masculinity is far more layered. They carry introspection, self-reliance, emotional clarity, and the courage to stand alone when needed. Yet, because these traits don't align with the loud stereotypes, it takes time for people, especially women, to recognize just how valuable these qualities really are. And of course, there is the slow burn allure of a Sigma male. He doesn't walk into a room demanding attention. Instead, his presence builds intrigue over time. His quiet confidence, his mystery, his ability to be self-contained. All of these create a gravitational pull that grows stronger the longer you observe him. It's not a spark. It's a flame that brightens slowly but never flickers out. So when you put it all together, the delayed appreciation of a Sigma male's worth isn't strange at all. It reveals how deeply society has shaped our understanding of confidence, strength, and attraction. Once someone sees past the loud distractions and finally notices the Sigma's depth, that realization becomes undeniable. But this raises a bigger question. What does all of this mean for masculinity today? It means the definition is changing, and Sigma males are part of that evolution. This isn't a rebellion against old norms. It's an expansion, a widening of what it means to be a man in a world where authenticity is more valuable than ever. In this new paradigm, independence sits at the center. Sigma males don't avoid people. They simply refuse to let society dictate their path. They are comfortable in solitude, confident in stillness, and grounded in self-reliance. Their independence isn't about loneliness. It's about strength. Next is introspection. Sigma males constantly look inward, not because they're overthinking, but because they want to grow. They question their beliefs, confront their weaknesses, and reshape themselves with purpose. This ability to evolve makes them far more adaptable and emotionally mature than most men. And then there's emotional intelligence. A Sigma male understands feelings, his own and those around him. He can communicate honestly, empathize deeply, and show vulnerability without feeling threatened. This emotional clarity allows him to build meaningful connections and navigate relationships with depth and honesty. This evolving understanding of masculinity also embraces diversity. There is no one shape a man must fit into. Sigma males break free from stereotypes. They redefine the boundaries of what strength can look like: calm, thoughtful, independent, emotionally aware. And that's exactly why their value only becomes clearer over time. They don't fit the mold, because they're building a new one. They move through life with a freedom most people never fully experience. A freedom to express themselves exactly as they are, without shrinking, hiding, or reshaping their identity to fit what society expects. In this evolving era of masculinity, Sigma males aren't measured by their money, status, or the power they display. Their worth comes from their character, their values, and the choices they make when no one is watching. They are defined not by what they possess, but by the kind of man they have chosen to become. Sigma males, with their unconventional approach to life, force all of us to rethink masculinity itself. They widen the definition, stretch the boundaries, and remind us that being a man has never been a single narrow box. It's a vast spectrum filled with nuance, depth, and individuality. And in doing so, they quietly open the door to a more compassionate, more inclusive, more emotionally aware world. The impact of the Sigma archetype goes far beyond personal charm. It is gradually reshaping society's entire view of masculinity and attraction. In the grand social landscape, the Sigma male has become a figure impossible to ignore. This isn't only about their mysterious appeal or the quiet confidence they radiate. It's about the way they are rewriting the expectations of what a modern man can be. For generations, we were taught to associate masculinity with dominance, aggression, and relentless competitiveness. But Sigma males choose a different route, one built on independence, emotional clarity, and an almost unshakable self-reliance. They are not interested in climbing social ladders or fighting for hierarchies. Their life is guided by inner conviction rather than external approval. And it isn't only men who are noticing this shift. Society as a whole has begun recognizing the strength in introspection, the power that exists in silence, and the wisdom that comes from walking away from the chaos of crowds. This change in perception is deeply important, especially in a world where mental and emotional well-being matter more than ever. By embracing the Sigma way, we're not just challenging old norms, we're embracing a healthier, more balanced model of masculinity. But the ripple doesn't stop there. The rise of the Sigma male is altering how women evaluate potential partners. More and more women are discovering how magnetic it is when a man is comfortable in his own skin, grounded in his independence, and unafraid to defy societal expectations. These men don't just speak of respect and equality, they embody it effortlessly. So what does all this actually mean? It means the Sigma male isn't some passing trend or internet buzzword. It represents a broader cultural shift, a movement toward valuing individuality, emotional intelligence, and personal freedom. This is the true Sigma impact. It's not merely influencing dating choices. It's reshaping the entire fabric of how we understand masculinity, connection, and attraction. As we wrap up this exploration, let's reflect on the journey. We've stepped into the world of Sigma males, men who walk the quieter path, who choose depth over noise, who carry strength wrapped in introspection. We've examined the intrigue they leave behind, the allure that women often notice only when it's almost too late, and the subtle influence they have on anyone who crosses their path. We've uncovered why a Sigma's value rarely hits people all at once. How his independence, quiet confidence, and unshakable inner core reveal themselves slowly, layer by layer. His distance from society's expectations isn't a lack of impact. It's the reason he impacts so deeply. Because the man who stands apart is often the one who quietly shifts how others think, how they behave, and how they envision masculinity itself. To understand Sigma masculinity is to appreciate the rare man who refuses to be bent by noise or trends. It's recognizing the power of mystery, the beauty of self-sufficiency, and the strength that comes from walking through life with your own internal compass. And whether you see these qualities in yourself or in someone in your life, there's undeniable wisdom in the Sigma way. He reminds us that stepping out of the spotlight isn't weakness. Being self-reliant isn't isolation. And choosing your own path isn't rebellion. It's the purest form of authenticity. In a world obsessed with attention, the Sigma male is a living reminder that true strength doesn't need volume. It speaks through presence, consistency, and the calm certainty of a man who knows exactly who he is. So the next time you cross paths with a quiet, self-contained man moving with steady independence, pay attention. You might be looking at a Sigma, an irreplaceable enigma in a world full of echoes. If this message resonated, drop the word enigma in the comments. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the psychology behind real strength and masculine identity, make sure to subscribe. Join the growing Epic Persona community. Your next insight is already waiting for you in the video on your screen.